Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on KPAX, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, I'm Jill Valley.
And I'm Dennis Bragg. It's a plan that park administrators say would catch up on deferred maintenance, but park users aren't that happy about it.
That's right. They're considering hiking entrance fees at 17 of the most popular national parks, including Glacier and Yellowstone. MTN's Nicole Miller goes on special assignment tonight with an in-depth look on how billions of dollars in deferred maintenance projects are affecting how much you could pay to visit the park.
America's national parks are more popular than ever, surpassing 330 million visitors last year.
We saw 1 million visitors in July, which was a number that I don't think any of us at the park were really expecting.
But that heavy visitation does take a toll on the wear and tear of the park.
In places like Glacier, we have about $150 million in deferred maintenance. Most of that is in the roads, but we also have, a significant portion that's also in our buildings, our parking lots, our administrative buildings, our housing for our employees.
To generate funding for the needed improvements, the National Park Service is considering a hike in entrance fees at 17 of its most popular parks, including Glacier.
So for 5 months of the year, these 17 parks would have a proposed increase to their entrance fees for those 7-day passes in order to generate more revenue for some of the badly needed infrastructure projects in these parks.
The increase is expected to generate $70 million annually. 80% of an entrance fee will remain in the park it's collected. The other 20% will go towards repairing the other national parks. But the National Parks Conservation Association, a nonprofit that advocates for improved funding for our national parks, does not support the proposal.
This is a significant amount of money for families who are making ends meet, and we would hate for people to be priced out of national parks. It's also unclear whether any research was done on whether or not this could impact local economies. If this discourages people from visiting their national parks, then that would affect the local economies that depend on visitors to spend their money.
National parks are a very popular family vacation, but it's also very popular for all ages, and including the millennial travelers, because they are able to come and experience some really incredible, large landscapes, be able to get outside and experience incredible scenery and have outdoor adventure in these national parks.
The fee increase proposal comes as the Trump administration is proposing to decrease the National Park Service budget by nearly $380 million. A public comment period on the proposal is open until November 23rd on the National Park Service's website. Reporting in Glacier National Park, Nicole Miller, MTN News.
If this price hike goes through, it would go into effect in 2018 from May through September. Turning now to weather, we've got another system moving in overnight that could bring some freezing rain and some more winter weather. Things you need to know before you head on out tomorrow. Here's Aaron Yost with the first forecast.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is going to impact our morning commute, especially if you live in the northwest quarter of the state. So that's pretty much anywhere north of Interstate 90. This was Hamilton today, our First Security Bank ICAM. A lot of gray skies. We have seen those gray skies continue throughout this evening. A little bit of breakup in the northwest quarter of the state. We're looking off to the west, though, at that green blob there. That is our next system set to move in. It does have a lot of warm air associated with it, but with our cold pooled in our valley locations tomorrow morning, as that warm air overrides it, that's where we could see pockets of freezing rain. Winter weather advisories have been issued for a few. More details coming up.
The Missoula County Sheriff's Office says a homeless Missoula man died of hypothermia early Monday morning, and one shelter that used to help him is really feeling this loss hard.
And they're jumping into action to make sure others on the street have a warm place to sleep as we go into winter. MTN's Augusta McDonald has the story.
Always had a smile on his face, and he brought joy to this area constantly, him and his friends. But Tim was, he had a big heart. He truly did.
Lloyd was considered homeless and has been a regular at the Union Gospel Mission Shelter for over a decade, where they accept everyone, including people who may be intoxicated with drugs or alcohol, something other shelters in Missoula don't allow.
They're coming in here being able to still fit in and have a place to stay when they may have an intoxication or something that they're dealing with, and we're going to handle that on a case-by-case, but really not turn anybody away.
The Union Gospel Mission has been around for almost 20 years, but the overnight warming shelter started just last year with the help of Providence St. Patrick Hospital to accommodate this population of Missoula's homeless who are abusing substances and not allowed into other shelters to stay warm in the winter. They plan to offer expanded services this year, beginning November 11th. But Lloyd's death changed their plans, and they opened the shelter early, the night after he died.
And there were men that hung out together and helped each other and protected each other and were there for each other to help, that now there's a person that's missing. So it's a huge impact, of which then we have a service here for them to say, you're important to us. You matter.
UGM staff need volunteers now to staff the warming shelter from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m., 7 days a week. This will last until March 16th, providing 5 months of shelter. If you want to get involved, email outreach@ugmofmissoula.org or call 406-542-5240. Reporting in Missoula, I'm Augusta McDonald for MTN News.
The Union Gospel Mission is part of the 10-year plan to end homelessness in Missoula, whose stakeholders meet weekly to help people get housing that they need in the Garden City.
As the snow continues to fall, the Flathead County Department of Roads and Bridges has been up early to plow the roads to keep them safe. The Department of Transportation also plays a role in that. And they recently created a phone and desktop application that will help drivers through the winter. The app has a map that has multiple layers of information with things like construction to crashes to road conditions, even a radar showing the weather. The map also has statewide webcams so you can actually get a look at what the roads look like. Justin Juliffs, the maintenance chief with the Department of Transportation in Kalispell, says he hopes that this app will simply help people make good decisions on whether or not to travel.
In other news, we may have a better idea tomorrow where the budget cuts could come at the University of Montana as the school continues the effort to try and better align spending with actual student enrollments. Over the past few days, the special committee has been going over all of the university's programs and forming what's called an academic program and administrative services prioritization. It's basically a list ranking more than 400 different class offerings and programs, rating them from strong to not suitable. UM President Sheila Stearns appointed the panel and gave them less than a week to review the programs list and come up with the ranking. Tomorrow, Stearns has called a press conference to explain the conclusions from that process and what happens next in the school's efforts to trim spending to match the current lower enrollments UM has been seeing over the past several years. Corvallis school administrators say they're ready to get to work on detailed plans now that voters have approved a proposal to purchase a critical piece of property. This week, voters okayed a 5-year building reserve levy, allowing the district to buy 21 acres of soon-to-be vacated land from Valley Electric Co-op, which is right next to the school campus.
Thank all the people who did vote, regardless of how they voted. I'm just glad that we had such a high turnout for the levy issue and the votes that were cast that way. It's fantastic just to see the participation level that was there.
School leaders felt the land offered a unique opportunity because Valley Electric Co-op will leave behind 21,000 square feet of buildings that could be used for instructional space, especially to help with the crowding at the Corvallis Primary School and replacing older buildings currently used for administration, storage, and operations. It also secures 5 acres that have been used for ball fields for the past 30 years.
Between the purchase process and actually physically taking possession of the property will take about a year and a half. The REC is going to be on the property for the time being until about the summer of 2019. So during that time, we're going to be doing a lot of detailed planning related to the property and our existing campus as well. So we're going to get real detailed that way.
The district will pay $1.7 million for the land, borrowing the money from the state and then paying it back with the levy proceeds.
The city of Missoula is asking for public opinion on a draft environmental assessment on a Homeward Housing project. The project will place 6 manufactured housing units meant for home ownership on Montana Street directly behind the Missoula Food Bank. 5 of the units will be sold to home buyers at or below 80% of the Missoula area median income. Homeward is seeking more than $288,000 of Missoula Home Investment Partnerships program funding towards the $880,000 project. The Missoula City Housing and Community Development Grant Administrator says the need to provide affordable housing is vital as home prices grow and the availability of them decreases.
It's a real crunch for working families all throughout the city who just aren't earning enough to be able to afford the price of the home because it keeps going up and up. They're going to be priced at a point where it's not going to break the bank for working families. They're going to be able to achieve that dream of homeownership at an affordable price.
Submit written comments about the proposal for consideration by the City of Missoula on or before November 20th.
After the break, Aaron is back with your forecast. Could include some freezing rain for some of us.
And later, Republican lawmakers are planning to expand the state's upcoming special session agenda beyond what the governor has proposed. We'll hear more about that still ahead on KPAX.